Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. David and I are checking out the figures from 1983 as voted on by the G.I. Joe A Real American Hero 1982 to 1994 Facebook group. We had 485 people vote on figures from 83, and we're going to take a look at the top 10 most popular figures. Number 10 most popular figure was Doc.
Yeah, I love Doc. Like, I remember having Doc as a kid.
Okay.
I loved Doc because he had the stretcher and the flare gun and the helmet, and he was tan, whereas,
he's very different.
82 was all green, basically, and then you got, there's other colors other than green.
The fact that the stretcher worked with the helicopter was
brilliant.
Brilliant. Like, that showed the designers were thinking. Like, I love that stuff. And there's not a ton of that in the Joe line, but when it happens, it's incredible.
Yeah, and you've got to make note of it. Because I wonder how many people watching have not realized that.
It clips right on. So he can, transport people out. And the Dragonfly isn't really like a rescue chopper at all. It's an attack helicopter. Number 9, we had Torpedo.
I love this figure.
He's a good figure.
I love this figure. Like, I remember having it, again, this is one at 83, there was a handful of figures that I remember clearly having, and Torpedo was one of them. Doc, obviously, is another one. And, I just love that paint.
The paint scheme is really neat. The split gray and black is great.
And the fact that, they're going to have a guy that's in an actual wetsuit.
Yeah.
And, he's got the wetsuit on the face and the head and everything, and he's got a spear gun.
The flippers are fun.
Yeah.
It's a good figure. It's a shame, in a way, that it started the trend of, okay, if you're a Navy SEAL, you're going to be stuck in a wetsuit all the time. They had a hard time getting away from that, but it was something the Joe team needed at the time. Yeah, we need a frogman, absolutely. Yeah. Our number 8 figure was Major Blood. He's a pretty cool looking bad guy.
He is. And the idea that Cobra has additional forces and they're mercenaries is a really great thing, because you can then play off of that and do whatever you want. Now, granted, they didn't build out a whole Major Blood line, which would have been really cool, but still, the idea that Major Blood was he worked for Cobra, but he didn't kind of report to Cobra is kind of a cool thing.
And it gave a lot of good story dynamics in the comics, too, because you had a lot of betrayal and backstabbing and plots, and just that figure was really cool. He had, a brown uniform, but he had padding, he had dog tags, he had the robotic arm, eye patch.
Yeah.
That guy had seen combat.
He was a badass.
Yeah.
Totally.
And, a little rocket-firing pistol,
Yeah.
This guy is nuts.
Yeah.
Great pick. Number 7, we had Snake Eyes. So this is the swivel arm. He was number 2 on our 1982 poll. Yep. Still doing very well in 1983, and I'll admit that the swivel arm version is superior to the straight arm version of Snake Eyes. Interesting, though, that with the wider character selection, that he's still doing.
He's in the top 10.
Well. Yeah, he's in the top 10.
Yeah.
In the number 6 position, we have Duke, the face of G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Probably on par with Snake Eyes as far as being famous. More important in the cartoon show than Snake Eyes.
Definitely.
Less important in the comic book.
Yeah.
Great figure, though. It's a very interesting figure, considering he was just kind of cobbled together. It was okay, we're going to use just a little bit of tooling, we'll get you a new head, but use Stalker's gun, use a helmet you already have, use Doc's back, get a new chest.
Yep. Yeah.
Iconic figure.
Yeah, and the color scheme, is simple, but it works. I mean, it feels very military.
Absolutely.
And the green accessories is kind of a nice touch.
Yep.
It's a cool, solid figure.
In the number 5 spot, we have Cobra Commander, who was our number 1 figure previously. So still holding up.
Again, just like Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
And still in the top 10, even with additional competition.
Yep.
And, you can't go wrong with a Cobra Commander.
Great figure.
Absolutely.
Idiot! What kind of bad guy are you? Show some pride!
Number 4, we've got Airborne. I'm a little surprised that he's that high. He's not a bad figure.
No.
But that's pretty high for Airborne. I don't see a lot of, fan love. You don't see character art. You don't see a lot of people using that figure in their G.I. Joe photography. Yeah. So for him to be that high, it's kind of impressive.
Yeah, and I remember having this, again, another one from 83 that I remember having, and I loved him because I loved the card art. I love the idea of a dude rappelling down a rope from a helicopter to attack people, and I thought that illustration of that was just fantastic. So It sold me on the figure.
It's a good figure. He has got good accessories. It's interesting how many of his parts then got reused for other things in the future. After that, we've got Snow Job in the number 3 spot. Probably one of the best accessory sets from '83.
Oh, easy.
Poles, skis, a backpack they all clip on, and a gun that would go on to be the most famous laser rifle in G.I. Joe.
Yeah, the iconic gun.
Everyone in the cartoon had that gun.
Is it blue or red? That's all you got to ask, you know? And I'll say, like, this is one of my top 10 favorite figures of the entire series. So, to me, again, 83, clearly I had a number of 83 figures. And I clearly remember, this is one of the only figures I remember getting in the store, opening it, and playing with it. And I remember, like, putting his skis on and, like, sliding around every little thing I possibly could. I thought he was the greatest figure.
He's a really good figure.
And he stands up without, like...
Yeah, no figure stand needed.
Don't need a figure stand. He's great.
Number 2, we've got Gung-Ho, our first Marine on this one. That was the cool thing about 83, was that suddenly we went from, like, all these Green Army men to a Marine, a SEAL, you know, they really expanded the ranks very quickly. And Gung-Ho, I think because of the, like, open shirt, giant tattoo, that made him instantly iconic. And then his portrayal in the cartoon just blew him up. He became super popular.
Yeah, I think the figure really sold him as a badass. And then I think the fact of the cartoon showing, like, he's, like...
Bigger.
Yeah. And it's like, I think that's one of the things that I really liked that they made the change from 82 to 83 is that the figure started to represent the character's personality a lot more.
Yeah.
Colors, sculpts, all of that. And I think Gung-Ho is, like, one of the iconic ones of that.
The grenade launcher was a great accessory. Like, just something very different from everybody else. Like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then our number 1 figure is, I mean, arguably one of the most popular characters from the line, not counting the guys we've already mentioned in this year, but Destro. First threat to the Joes beyond Cobra. Like, in the commercials and in the comics, it was like, you know, Cobra's got a new ally, and they would hide him in shadow and, like, really build him up. Almost the way, like, He-Man had Hordak later on. Like, oh, well, we can't just fight Skeletor. We gotta have Hordak. Well, we can't just fight Cobra Commander. We need Destro.
And, I mean, there's no surprise that Destro was going to be in the top 5. Number 1, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
The fact that he's got rockets on his wrist. I mean, he's got his chest bare. Like, he's...
Back metal is just cool on any toy.
I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with Destro. And he's got that weird pistol. Like, there's all sorts of stuff.
The backpack that opens up to have all the little weapons inside.
Yeah, he's an arms dealer.
Yeah,
I mean...
It's great.
Yeah, great idea, great execution, great figure.
All right. So in the comments down below, let us know what your thoughts are on this list. Thanks for checking out the video, and we'll be posting more in the near future, so check out the rest of our top 10 lists.